Are we ready, sir?
Okay, you're on.
I'm on. Okay, let's see. Okay, so like Barry had mentioned, today starts the new cycle of our model contest year. So I thought it might be a good idea to pass along to you some suggestions, thoughts that will help you maybe elevate you to getting that first prize for that particular month, and maybe accrue enough points that you'll get one of the certificates a year from now. So, uh, in my application that I'm not a professional photographer. I never took any classes in school. However, my dad was a pretty good photographer, so I picked up a few things from him. And 100 years ago, during my high school summer breaks there, I worked at Downtown Train Camera in Detroit, quite a unique combination, and talk about coming full circle. So I bought my first 35 millimeter film camera, went out and took some pictures, sent them to Hype overnight. When they came in the next day, showed them to the boys in the camera department, and nice sunset on the lake, Russ. But next time, steady it up a little bit more. It looks like the lake's going downhill. Okay. In today's day and age, I could change that just like that. So, okay, the next weekend, take a few more. And what do you think? And it's like, okay, good, good. Well, you got the water level, but and the sunset's nice. But if you had a little foreground there, that would put a little bit more interest in the picture. So it went on, and I picked up a few things from there. So uh, anyways, and Rob at home too. Show of hands, how many in the room have a smartphone of some sort? Okay, keep the hands up. Keep the hands up, please. Of those hands up, how many are the Apple iPhone? Okay, very well. Rob at home? No. Okay, I guess. Can you hear me? Okay. Anyways, same question. How many have a tablet? All right. And how many are the Apple iPod, pad? Okay, very good. All of the pictures that you're going to see were taken with this guy, or actually his father. This is a new one, the first of the year. So, anyways, all right. So let's get going. And so to make that photo more exciting, it all starts out with this. And you thought this was going to be yeah, you thought this was going to be all about model railroading, the presentation. And what a better way to get your attention is with the restaurants and everything about making that hamburger.
Can we get fries?
No. Um, so, and the restaurants and everything have food artists, stylish, that probably not too much of this hamburger is edible. Uh, they probably sprayed some like dull coat or something like that on the bun to make it look like it just came out of the oven. The cheese is just perfectly dripping down there and so on. So that's the idea that I want to try to convey to you today, is that the first shot that you have for your model contest, or we'll see in a second that if you put something on eBay, we want that first photo to really pop and get your attention. So that if you, it's like I just came from lunch, and it's like Yeah, that looks so good. I could go get one of those right now. So that's what I want to try to get everyone to do is that you might see something on eBay or the model contest, and it's like, wow, look at that. I have 5 of those cars, but darn, that looks so good that I'm going to go out and get another one, right? So, um, so here's one of those deals that uh, like on eBay, that you go search for something. In my case, it was Canadian National Cabooses, and then for the rest of your life, eBay sends you anything that has Canadian National, Canadian Pacific. So these just happened to come up. You might like these. And I thought while I was putting this presentation together that it would be, this is a good example. So do you think these will sell? Maybe they don't look that appealing there. And you go, well, Russ, both of those are 50 years old. Granted, but obviously, both of these sellers want to get rid of this. So they didn't do a very good job of making their opening photo very appealing. So if you look at that, and here's the thing too today that I'm really going to harp at you that not only in the room here, but on eBay, a lot of things I see guys shooting down on the models. All right. This is your opening shot. For us, we have 3 photos that we can submit, except for next month, right? Where it's just one prototype and one model. But the rest of the year, 3 photos. If we're doing it on eBay, we get 5 or 7 for free. You can take any angle that you would like. But let's not have this for the opening shot. Let's think about this. First of all, they're shooting down, and the seller on the left, it's like, yeah, I had one of those 50 years ago. And then your eyes start to wander, and I start thinking, wow, I wonder how hard it is to clean that countertop with those towels. And does he have more to sell in those boxes way at the end of the counter? Right. And so the seller on the right, he did a little better. He got a chunk of Bachman Easy Track out, but again, I'm looking at this AccuRail box with a little smudge up at the upper left, and then again my eyes start to wander. It's like, hey, that kind of looks like the granite in our kitchen, and I wonder, right? So how about this? I just grabbed these off the layout. Like all of us, my workbench has a lot of spoolie. So I go ahead and take some white foam board. It's cut in half so it makes a L shape. And depending on what I want to have for a backdrop, a background, I either leave it the white or put a little black in back of it. But, what a difference that I shot straight on, and we don't have anything to our eyes to wander about. It's right there. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is what I hope that you get from it is that we're gonna choose the right location, going to have good lighting, the right angle. Don't be afraid to get closer, and we're going to hide some undesirable surroundings. And if we can, we're going to do some editing on these. So we all have our favorite spot on the layout. The real railroads had their favorite spot. New York Central had Breakneck Mountain that was about halfway between New York and Albany. But let's look at it. So off to the left there, you have the Hudson River, little foreground. You have Breakneck Mountain in the back, nice background. And you have this very gentle curve where you can get the whole train in there. So just as a side note, the left with the steam engine, both of these are just publicity shots. But the inaugural run of the Empire State was on December 7th, 1941. Oops, if they only had that crystal ball, huh? So 7 years later, same location, the brand new 1948 20th century. So it's amazing what in 7 years how things change. So, and if you think about it, probably if you're a Pennsy guy, what Horseshoe Curve, right? If you're a Santa Fe, Barry might, either Latone Pass or some stretch out of the desert in New Mexico or Arizona where they get the whole train in there. So for us, let's try to maybe vary our locations up to fit whatever the model is that we have for that month, okay, if we can. So if it's a box car, let's try to put it in front of maybe some factory or something to where it gives a hint that it's either dropping off or receiving some material. If it's the open loads, how about maybe a loading dock on your team track that would be befitting for it. When it comes time for the passenger month, thanks to Chris Broughton, I have a very nice now Pullman company where they service the diners and the Pullman sleepers and so on. Or how about just a station platform there? Either one would be kind of befitting for the passenger month. All right, how about lighting? There's probably good and bad spots on your layout as there are on mine for taking photos. So the one on the left, or at least the way it comes through, say like on my computer, it's a little dark. And so it kind of hides the detail of the steamer there. So let's move it to a different part of the layout, like on the right to where we have a little better light and it shows off a lot more of the details there. Now, if this was the steam contest, I would not take the one on the right because the bridge railing hides some of the detail, but I think you get the idea that, let's put it in a good light. When Bob Frankrone had his open house a few months ago, he just took a shop light and shown it on his diorama or the module there so that we have a much better view of it, and it worked out just fine. So if you're in the stages right now of building your layout and or you haven't quite figured out the lighting that you want to have, get a shop light or something and aim it so you don't get a lot of reflection, but that can help you too on making a better photo before you have the lighting permanently on your layout. All right, the angle. We all go to big lengths to try to make our layout look as realistic as what we possibly can. Detailing our buildings, our scenery, our rolling stock, and so on. So think about this. You want to make this to like you're down at any yard taking a roster shot of these engines. So again, shoot up. Don't shoot down on anything. And I know I'm a short guy, but as I look around the room, most of us are in the same category where each year it gets a little tougher to scooch down and take that shot looking up. But I highly recommend that because I think this makes for a much better photo, and that's what we want. We want to convey that we're we're out there taking roster shots, just like you would see the real thing. Okay, so closer and a better angle. Took these two on the layout, and this kind of looks like that first one on eBay. So we take a picture of the boxcar. Again, you see how we're shooting down. And then all of a sudden, your eyes start to wander, and it's like, wow, look at that building. Forget about the boxcar. Look at the building, and isn't that the old Sidem Purina Chow? And yes. And I don't recall it having all that roof detail. Thank you, Steve Lesher, for finishing and putting all the goodies on the top. And a side note to this, I still have the original yellow Sidem box that I bought this kit probably back around 64, 65. It still has the price tag on it of $3.95. Yeah, and you think about that, $4, Sidem made some money, Walters made some money, and the hobby shop made some money. Not much money, but it kept them all in business. Amazing how 60 years later, how things have gone up. Anyways, okay, so how about if we change that up a little bit, what I've been talking about? How about if we get closer and we shoot up? So it looks, you can think of Bruce McCollin or Barry here taking a roster shot of this. And okay, so our eyes pretty well focus on the boxcar. In this case, if we're gonna enter that in this month's contest, okay, maybe we have just a little hint of something behind it that, okay, it's there to either receive or drop off something. But I think it makes a much better shot that again, your eyes aren't wandering, they're sticking right there with with what we want to see. Now, it doesn't mean that we can't take some shot from above looking down, right? So how many shots do we get for a contest? How many? Three. Except
Photos.
all right. So few guys are still awake. All right. So again, I wouldn't lead off with this, but it could be the second or the third photo, right? Where you say, okay, look at all the extra detail there on the tender and the weathering, and okay. And again, thanks to Steve on the left and Chris Broughton, roof detail on the right. Again, if you want to show that off, nothing wrong with that, but just don't make that your lead shot, right? Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with if something comes close to what you're trying to model or replicate. There's nothing wrong with putting the real deal there. Personally, and my opinion, just like body parts, we all have one. My opinion is you don't use that as your opening shot, maybe your second or your third shot, right? So I want to also point this out. Now, if you do, I don't use a side by side. When I entered this a couple of years ago, the real deal was my last photo. If you do a deal like this side by side, and there's nothing wrong with that, but this counts as two photos. All right. This is not one, this is two photos. So if you want to do a side by side for one of our entries, this counts as two photos. So you only get one more by itself. Okay, so like all of us our workbenches are really a mess. This is Steve Lasher's. No, this is not a model that's going on my layout. Steve asked me to take some photos of it, and at the time we were getting ready to go on vacation. I said, I just don't have the time, Steve. May I suggest that you go out and take a picture of any trees parked, put it behind there, and or get some construction paper, and that's what Steve did. So he got some sky blue construction paper for the back. He draped some brown over the front, and wow, what a difference, huh? And matter of fact, when I was putting this together, I was even looking at that, and it was kind of like the Animal House. It's like, yeah, have Steve do one of these for you. Isn't that a nice model? I said, no, Russell, we have a plan. Stick with the plan, and it's like, but it looks so like, yeah, you want it. It's like, I'm proud of you, Russell. And it's like, yeah, loser. But yeah, I mean, this is the K5 Pacific. It was a forerunner of the Hudson. So in my era, these were long gone. But again, as I'm looking at it, it's like, darn, this had a nice model. Okay, another thing that we can do to kind of hide some undesirables is get a backdrop. And the backdrop on the right, Chris Broughton lent me, and that's one of the tricks that the infamous Lou Sassy used when he came to photograph Chris's layout. And Chris let me borrow this. This is just a commercial backdrop that he glued on some white foam board, took a wood yardstick, cut it in half, glued it to the back, and then you can kind of reposition it anywhere you want. But if you look at it, this is my layout. To our back is Syracuse. This is one of the peninsulas, and obviously, if we just took it without the backdrop, you could see right across the aisle to the east part of the Buffalo Yard. But it's amazing that you put a backdrop back there, and what difference does it make? Huh? Quite a bit. Now I had to shoot kind of tight because obviously the fascia is round, the backdrop is flat. So if I broaden the shot out, you could see where the backdrop was actually pulling away, and we lose the effect that we want to get there. But quite a bit different. So we can do that to get a better picture. Okay, I talked about who had the Apple products. I apologize. I have no idea about Android, but I'm willing to bet big money there is something very, very similar on your Android phone. All right. I don't know, Ron, why we're getting the little window like on all these slides there. And it's okay. Well, anyways, it just so happens that this I always hate to do something on somebody's computer when I got it. I tell you. All right, for my next trip. Okay, so Apple is usually very intuitive. This I don't get, but somebody smarter than me figured it out. But the icons down here are the one on the left. Okay, we're going to send it to you. The one on the right, we're going to trash. The heart, I love it. Information. This looks like maybe we're trying to pull up an abacus or something. I would not guess that this is gonna be our editing icon that we're gonna tap. But it is. Oh,
Click on the image. Now.
see, now you, uh, okay, there you go. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Okay. So when we click or tap on that, it opens up all these icons around our picture, on the left. At the top, it's got adjust, filters, my favorite, crop. And right now it's on the adjust. So then on the right, we have all sorts of different ways that we can change our exposure, so on like that. So then even less intuitive, if you go to the top, kind of on the right, the very first icon is a circle and it looks like a pencil. And by golly, that's what you're trying to convey. If you tap on that, it opens up this toolbar down here. And, you know, we have a fat Sharpie, a thin Sharpie, an eraser. And so if we want to now, we can use, you know, your fat finger, draw lines and everything on there. Or my favorite, if you click on the plus, it opens up this window. And then what we can do is all sorts of shapes. So just like the one where I said had put a circle around the abacus there, you know, I click on that. Okay, I want a circle, drag it over there. The one I like to do a lot is in the arrow, especially like if I send it to somebody. This is what I'm talking about right here. So it really works out well. So let's use the old crop. I want to get in the whole building, but by doing that, I see some of the fascia. Well, that's not going to make a very good picture. So if I use the crop, what it does is just bring some bars up around this, and I can just drag it up. And again, we don't need all this sky, so I can drag it down a little bit. Done, and voila, our fascia has gone away. We got a whole building in there, and I think it makes for a good picture. All right, so let's do some cropping and change the exposure a little bit. So on the right, we don't need all that track in there. So I can bring it up, I can crop, get that out of the way. And then, like before, our engines are just a little dark on the left. So I'd like to kind of lighten it up a little bit so we can see more of the detail. So on the right then, what I've done is kind of lighten up the exposure a little bit, but you have to be kind of careful about this, that you look at, okay, we have more light on our engines, good. Our cooling tower, it's still acceptable. It's not quite as dark. It looks as grungy as the original. The thing that you really have to watch out for is any light color, like the sand towers in the background. If we lighten up too much, those are going to look like the death ray coming out of it, right? So we kind of have to strike a balance here. And what I'm showing you today is just a few steps above a cheesecake picture. And you know what a cheesecake picture is? It's where you get on Christmas, you get the whole family together and, all right, everyone say cheese, you know, and then usually grandpa's looking the other way, somebody's scratching their butt. I mean, right? So this is a few steps better than that. if you wanted to submit this for, say, like a full page or three-quarter page, like in one of the national publications, then we'd probably want to whip out the 35 millimeter, get some photo lights, not just a shop light, but some photo lights. And then we can do all sorts of things like depth of field, so on like that. Okay, and I don't know if it really shows up that well on the screen, but I'm sure it does at home. So again, just for grins and giggles, that if you want to take away all the color, you can make the one like on the right black and white, like maybe we did take this in 1943 or something like that. And then you can play around with some of those other filters, and you can put like some antiquing around it that really kind of makes it look old. So again, all sorts of fun stuff that you can do with the editing, and it's the same icons and everything for the pad and the phone. Okay, so let's say whatever you take your pictures with for the contest or for an article on the pie card, whatever, you can't edit for whatever reason. Okay, so we can get around that. And this is a Steve suggestion that this is one chunk of chooch wall. Get a 3 or 4 chunks of double-sided tape, slap it up on the fascia there, and voila, it's gone. Okay, pretty simple. Like we saw before, just a couple of sheets of some construction paper, and you can make stuff go away that you don't want people to see. All right, so just a quick gallery here. This is Jim Petro's layout. And you might say, well, you've been talking about shooting up, Russ. You know, Fusseslo's here. Sometimes you can only get the camera so low, because then there was some scenery on Jim's layout that I didn't want him to slap me around for ruining that. So, but we're still straight on. We're not up looking down, right? And if you think about it, that if we wanted to, we could move the switcher over to the left a little bit, zoom in on that, and there's his diesel for that month's diesel contest. This is Rob Cooper's old layout, which is unfortunately no more. Rob got carried away with Woodland Scenic's just Plugs and went wild, you know, cars, buildings, street lights, the whole schmagiggly there. And Rob is also financially well off, that his layout was fluorescent lights. But after he got all this, I was just kind of teasing him. I said, well, we're going to have some night ops. Well, it'd be kind of, I said, well, you know, some people put in these can lights with, you know, blue bulbs. And he had an electrician come out, and I guess I want to say the aisleways were a little bit shorter from here to the window. I think he might have had 3 or 4 can lights put in with the blue light bulbs. Nice effect. So you still get the nighttime stuff, but you're not tripping around in the dark. We never did do any night ops. I think this is a pretty good shot. You can still, this is its backdrop. You can still see the clouds and everything. The only thing that I don't like about it is taking it just like this, that our street lights kind of wash out. Now, this would be something where we'd have to put this into Photoshop, and then we could tone down all the street lights and everything if we wanted to. But I think it's not a bad shot just as is. So nothing fancy about this, but I like it. I'm kind of proud of it. I think Bob did an article and or a presentation on don't throw away or that word. Repurpose. Thank you. Your old cars. So this is one of my first AHM cars from about 1965-ish. Do you? Okay. Maybe I took it from you.
I don't have any.
Yes, because I took it from you. Yeah. So, but replaced the old fat brake wheel with a KD, took the Talgo couplers off the trucks, which by the way, and I know it's kind of hard to see it from here, probably the people at home, for that old of a car, there's a lot of rivet detail and everything on it. And the AHM trucks had brake shoes and everything. So those are the original AHM trucks, just, updated wheel sets, mounted the KDs to the frame, a little bit of weathering, and there you go. But again, we've been shooting up. I hope this doesn't get into somebody where, yeah, those Division 8 guys, they were shooting up all meeting. Okay. Again, our up angle, and when you look at that, the East Buffalo Yard Tower actually looks like it's a 2-story building, and we get to see all the detail on there. And you look at the angle, and okay, it's pretty close to the real deal there, right? This is Jim's layout also. Half of his layout is double decked. One would think I wouldn't have to do anything, but it's up there. And, because I'm so tall that I even had to get on a little stool so it didn't look like I was shooting up at the moon. This made it to trackside photos in MR, I think maybe about a year ago. By the way, so again, that photo was taken with this. Nothing fancy, just like I've been telling you, a little bit of cropping, maybe lighten it up just a smidge. I think they paid me $75 for this. So, yeah, so who knows? All right, so I hope that I have conveyed to you today that some of the things that you should try for the next time you're entering whatever it is for our monthly contest. Try to put it in good light or get that shop light out to give it better lighting. Try to shoot up at an angle, or at least straight on, not to stand up and shoot down on the model. Try to get closer. And you can see just by some really simple methods, you can hide some of the undesirable things you want to keep out of the picture. If you have the ability on your phone or pad to do some editing, it's really a piece of cake. And by the way, if you don't like what you see, at least on the Apple, it's undo or revert back to original, and you can start all over again. Actually, even after you have pressed done, I've gone back sometimes and I said, I think I could do that a little better. And then you get something revert or change. And so it's not permanent. And then again, that first photo that you're either putting on eBay or for a contest, wow the people with it. Make it one where it really pops, that just like that hamburger, you go, yeah, I want one of those. So, anyway, so there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. Thoughts, suggestions, questions.